All right, we are going to look at our linear regression lines and equations. And our linear regression creates a line of best fit. Remember, this is data. We're not going to get an exact line, but we will get a best fit line for the data that we're given. It also calculates the correlation coefficient that's represented by the R, which indicates the strength of the relationship. It also creates an equation that allows us to make assumptions or predictions about the relationship. All right, we are going to be using our TI nspire calculators to help us do this. We're not going to do it by hand. For our calculator purposes, I'm going to focus on number 1 and number 4 steps given this example and this data. And so we can get the correlation coefficient, the equation, and then we can make a prediction. So this example says the table below gives the number of hours students spent studying for a biology exam in the final grade. They predict the exam grade of a student who studied for 6 hours. So the first thing that we need to do is put your data in to the calculator, and then we'll get the equation. Then we can analyze the correlation coefficient, or the R, and then we can make our prediction. So step 1 says how we do that in our calculator. So you're going to new document, clearing your memory, and we are going to number 4, lists and spreadsheets. And it brings up our spreadsheet. In column A, we're going to enter in our X values. Remember, X always comes first, so the first row is X. I'm coming up here to where that A is. I'm going to type in hours because I need to define it for my calculator. Arrowing down and entering in nothing where the equal sign is. And 1, I'm going to enter in all of these numbers. So 2, arrow down 5, 1, 0, 4, 2, and 3. So those are all my X values. Now I'm going to go enter in my Y values in the B column. Again, I got to define that. My Y's are my grades. So grade. And then I'm going to type in all of that data. 92, 70, 63, 90, 75, 84. Make sure I arrow down out of that last cell that I entered in. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump to number 4, and this will tell us all the information that we need. So I'm going to follow these steps right here, starting here. So menu, 4, 1, 3. I want an equation in mx plus b. So 3. And then here I need to label my x and y. So arrow over, x was hours, y's are grade. And then once I got those filled in, I can just press enter. And then over here it starts giving us all of the information. So we did the linear regression in mx plus b, so it gives me my m and it gives me my b. So when I come up here to where it says equation, I'm just filling in that information. I want to write my equation as y equals mx plus b. So I'm just filling it in with what the calculator gives me. So y equals, it says m is 6.09x, and then it says my b is plus 63.93. So this would be my equation of my best fit line for this data. Okay. Our calculator also tells us the correlation coefficient, and that is my R here, not the R squared number, the R. And so my correlation coefficient is 0.99 here. And that tells me that that's a positive correlation, because that's a positive number, and it is pretty strong correlation. All right, to make our prediction, we want to know if a student studied 6 hours, what could we predict their grade to be? So I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to put it in for x. So we want to know what grade. So y equals 6.09. We want 0.6393. We want it for 6 hours. So I'm going to put in 6 where x was. So then I'm going to come to my calculator, calculate page 6.09 times 6 plus 63.93. And we can see that somebody who studies for 6 hours is probably going to make 100. So we're just following these same steps over and over and over. Step number 2 and 3 just shows you the scatter plot visually. It's just extra steps that are not necessary, that we don't need to get our equation from. It just is a very visual thing if you like visually. So you can see this is what this data looks like on a scatter plot. You can see it is positive and it looks very strong. But you don't have to do this for each problem.